The commute, subway car, crowded, hot, a familiar suffocating routine. Sarah, headphones in, eyes glued to her book, barely noticed the world around her. Another day, another commute. The train screeched to a halt, jolting her back to reality. She disembarked, swallowed by the throng of humanity pushing towards the stairs. The walk to her apartment building was short, the familiar route offering little to distract her. Key in hand, she entered the dimly lit lobby, the air thick with the scent of stale cigarettes and disinfectant. 13B. Always 13B. A chill ran down her spine, an unwelcome but familiar feeling. The door creaked open, as if reluctant to yield. Darkness greeted her, an almost tangible presence that seemed to swallow the light. She flicked the switch, but nothing happened. The silence was deafening, amplifying her growing unease. "Power's out again," she muttered to herself, fumbling for her phone's flashlight. The small beam of light was a weak comfort in the oppressive darkness. The beam cut through the oppressive dark, revealing dust motes dancing in the air, like tiny spirits caught in a perpetual waltz. She stepped inside, the door clicking shut with a heavy thud, echoing through the empty space. The apartment was small, a studio, but it was hers. It was supposed to be her sanctuary, her escape from the world. Or at least it was supposed to be. Lately it felt more like a prison. Lately it hadn't felt that way. The walls seemed to close in on her, the air thick with an unspoken tension. A feeling, a presence, lingered in the air. It was as if the apartment itself was alive, watching her every move. She tried to shake it off, attributing it to the power outage and her own exhaustion. But deep down, she knew something was off, something she couldn't quite put her finger on. Hours passed. She busied herself trying to ignore the growing unease. Candles flickered, casting dancing shadows that seemed to writhe and twist. A floorboard creaked, the sound amplified in the silence. She froze, listening intently. Silence. Just the building settling, she whispered, her voice trembling slightly. But the silence was deceptive. A faint whisper, barely audible, seemed to emanate from the corner of the room. Her heart pounded in her chest. She strained to hear, but the sound was gone. She told herself it was her imagination, a trick of the flickering candlelight. But deep down, a seed of doubt had been planted. Sleep offered no escape, no respite from the relentless grip of fear that held her captive. She tossed and turned, plagued by nightmares she couldn't quite recall, but their haunting presence lingered in the corners of her mind. Every creak of the building, every sigh of the wind against the window pane sent shivers down her spine, amplifying her sense of dread. The darkness felt heavier, more oppressive, as if it were a living entity pressing down on her chest, making it hard to breathe. She longed for the comfort of daylight, but dawn seemed an eternity away, a distant hope that might never come. Morning finally arrived, pale and gray, filtering through the gaps in the curtains, offering little solace. The power was back on, but the sense of unease lingered, a shadow that refused to be dispelled by the light. She tried to rationalize her fear, to convince herself that there was a logical explanation for everything, that it was all in her mind. But the whispers, the shadows, the overwhelming feeling of being watched, it all felt too real, too tangible to be mere figments of her imagination.